So you've just pulled up to the park and you found the moose out front saying, "Sorry, folks, park's closed." But where are the workers and what are they doing? Parks down in Florida don't experience this. Many theme parks and amusement parks throughout the country experience an off-season, a period of the year when they're closed due to seasonal travel not happening, due to weather, because winter sets in and people don't want to be outside in the middle of the winter. So a lot of parks have this period of time where they have to close down because they wouldn't be getting guests anyways. It kind of leaves the employees in an odd spot. What happens to those park employees? Do they work other jobs during the winter? Do they stay in the park and do something else? Do they collect unemployment? Do they just plain disappear? What happens? Well, it's going to be different for different parks, especially since many of them operate on different calendars. Even just a few years ago, many parks would close in October, and it would leave a 4 to 6 month period where the park wasn't open. Well, what happens to those workers? Well, as time has gone on, parks have been gradually extending their calendars, and many of them now have Halloween and special fall events, and even several now, especially Six Flags, has been adding on a lot of Christmas events, holidays in the parks. Silver Dollar City's had a Christmas festival for years now, but it still has a time where it closes for several months. Once New Year's hits, Silver Dollar City is closed all through January and February, and it doesn't open up till mid to end of March. That's 2.5 months where its employees aren't working. Same thing is true at Six Flags or Cedar Fair parks or a lot of the other independent parks. So what do the workers do? Well, it varies from park to park. A lot of parks, say Cedar Point for example, many of their ride attractions employees and food workers, they're high school and college students. So it's a time where they are in school and they're not going to be wanting to work anyways. So for most of them, it doesn't affect them that much. But you get another park like Silver Dollar City or Dollywood or Busch Gardens in Virginia, and a lot of their employees are not students. People like me who are definitely older, and we've got this period of time where there isn't work to do. For Silver Dollar City, they actually do hire on a number of extra people in their maintenance department. There's a lot of maintenance work that goes on during the off-season. This is when they take the rides apart, refurbish them, refresh them, replace parts, and get them all freshened up over the course of those 2 to 4 months to get them ready for the next year. It's a great time to do all this extra maintenance work that you can't do during the regular time because you need the ride to be running and you just don't have enough people. So it allows them to get a lot of other work done, and some of the other employees will be able to step from their regular role and into that kind of a job and work that during the off season. But that doesn't come anywhere near to filling all of the job requirements, especially when you've got a town even like Branson that shuts down for essentially 3 months of the year. What it means is that those employees have to find something else to bring in some income. But if you're in Branson, that's going to be kind of tough because everybody's closed. So you end up finding other things to do. Silver Dollar City is actually very nice in that they actually pay into unemployment. So they can actually take an average of how much you were earning while you were working during the park season, and you can actually collect unemployment for that. It's not great. It doesn't pay you as much as you were making. You do actually have a couple weeks where you don't get paid until you can qualify for it, and then you're constantly having to look for other jobs even though you know there aren't any. It's not a perfect system, and most of the actual park employees would rather be working than sitting at home, but it at least provides some income for those who weren't able to work. That's generally what I did for the couple years that I was there. During that off season, it was really kind of tough for me. And I couldn't go to work because I didn't have Silver Dollar City. That's actually one of the reasons I started substitute teaching in my local schools, is because when Silver Dollar City was closed, I then had another job opportunity, and I would report my income from substitute teaching to the unemployment office, and then they would adjust my unemployment pay based on how much I was getting from teaching. So it was enough to kind of help get us through the winter when otherwise I wouldn't be working. Not every employee has that option. Some of them will go out and they will try to find a year-round job where they're not going to be taking that vacation. Some basically just kind of get stuck for 2 or 3 months without being able to get paid. And that kind of stinks. That's when they really hate that moose saying that the park is closed, because that's their livelihood. So it's a matter of trying to figure out what's going to work for you based on where you work. Especially if you're an international worker. Silver Dollar City will bring in some international workers to work at the park. And I know others like Cedar Point and some of the Six Flags parks do as well. Those will come in just for a limited term contract to work during those seasons, especially when they need workers and the students can't work. So like September and October when they're all in school, that's when you have the seasonal international workers. But then they head back home and, who knows, they're back at their home territory. It's something that I don't think that the parks have come up with a perfect solution on yet. I know Silver Dollar City would like to be able to hire more, but in Branson as a whole, it's a real issue. Because those months when you don't have the tourists come in and they start to come back in March a little bit, but there's restaurants that are closed in town, there's hotels that are closed in town, there's a lot of attractions that are closed in town, so all the miniature golf and the go-karts and all those kinds of things. It's not just Silver Dollar City that closes, it's all of that closes. And not all of them are on unemployment. There is definitely an issue in the area where I live where there's a lot of people from January through March that they don't work. And then there's a hope that they can get the job that they had previously, but even Silver Dollar City, if you worked the previous year and you're collecting unemployment, you still have to get rehired, and you go back through an interview process again, maybe. Silver Dollar City would actually send out rehire letters if they liked the job that you did, and you could get your letter and agree, yes, I work for you again this year on the same hours, the same pay. Hopefully you get a little bit of a raise. You'll get that typically in January or February, letting you know that you do have a job coming up. But if you don't get the rehire letter, perhaps because they phase out your position, and this is what happened to my daughter. She worked at a kids area at Silver Dollar City. Well, they leveled the whole area and rebuilt it as Fireman's Landing. And so she didn't get a rehire letter because her job wasn't there anymore. It was kind of not a nice thing to get. Thankfully, she didn't really want to go back because she didn't enjoy it, which happens to some people. But it would have left her completely without a job and trying to find something else to do. So not everybody gets rehired. And then they're trying to scramble around trying to find something else to pay bills. It can be a tough thing. So basically what happens to employees is essentially one of about 4 things. They go back to school if they're a student. They collect unemployment, hopefully, until the season starts and they get rehired again. They find another job someplace else. And I know around in Branson, if you can get a year-round job, man, that's a prize thing because there's not as many of them as people would like. Or you sit at home not working, which stinks. In which case, if you're one of those and that moose is out front, yeah, you kind of want to do like they did in Vacation and punch the moose in the nose because you would rather be working than sitting at home. So that's kind of what happens to employees during the off-season. And it will vary from park to park on how many can get a year-round job with the park and shift over into maintenance during the off-season or pick up another job or collect unemployment. But I imagine that there's a lot that they just end up during that time just plain not working and not making anything. Not a good thing, something that you really do wish that there was a better solution for. Have you worked in a park that had an off-season? What'd you do and what happened to you? Did you get unemployment or vacation pay, or was there something else that happened? I'd love to know what other parks do. So tell me your experiences, share them below in the comments, or if you've got other questions. Thank you so much for watching. Thank you to my patrons for your financial support. Thank you for subscribing and liking and sharing the video. Don't forget to check the description too. Thanks so much and God bless. Silver Dollar City's been doing Christmas at its parks for years. Its parks? It's only got one. If you want to know whenever I have a new video out, well, hey, make sure you hit that button right there and subscribe. If you want to see another video right now, well, I've got a great one right here for you. And if you want to be like these wonderful people here and help support me financially on Patreon, well, check out that link right there and it'll take you to it. Thanks so much and God bless.